And I've also set Marcus to work on that grubby interior.
It's coming up quite nice. I haven't touched them really for 7 years, so it's a nice little treat for the seats.
I've already taken the stereo out, just slipped out of the dashboard and disconnected the aerial, so this is the remains of the old aerial itself. A few more bits and pieces coming out, and there you go, that is the lead. And to get the new aerial lead to the stereo, I'm using an old metal coat hanger. Once I've pushed this through the dash and gaffer taped the new plug to the end, I can use it to pull the aerial cable through. Attach it to the stereo. And then plug the stereo into the dashboard. There's a lot of wires, very messy. There we have it. Fantastic. OK, here we go. Look at that. See? Finishes it off. Lovely.
Back to our roadster dilemma. Dean has 20 grand to blow. He's rejected the Mazda MX-5, he's having second thoughts on BMW Z4, and he loves the Honda S2000. But now, he's going to get his first taste of motoring heaven.
Right, now, this is the last of our cars that I'm going to show you today. This is the amazing Porsche Boxster. It's been with us a while now, since 1996. You can buy a fairly decent one for around your £20,000. You'll get a 5 or 6-year-old car with about 30,000 miles on the clock, but it is an awesome bit of kit.
That sounded sweet.
0 to 60 out of this car is a shade over 6 seconds, right?
Felt like
this,
3.
That did feel like 3 seconds, didn't it? This car will get you to where you want to go quickly and comfortably. 240 brake horsepower coming from a 2.7-litre engine.
The sound is fantastic. That sounded sweet. The steering's fantastic, but not as fun to drive as the S2000.
Right, OK.
If I hadn't driven the S2000, then I think this would quite easily be top of my shopping list.
Yeah. So you're impressed, but you're holding reservation?
I am.
Right. Now, this is the perfect time for me to give Dean the bad news about our Porsche Boxster. Now, jump out, because you see this roof that I asked you to put up? At the back, this later model has a glass rear screen, but on the earlier ones, that's plastic, and they go opaque. 400 quid to put right, and a difficult job to do. And being that this is a Porsche, you're going to be forever on the brakes, because you're forever accelerating. Every 18,000 miles, you are likely, on some of these models, to go through a set of discs and pads, and they're going to cost you £200 each to put right. Now, after I've told you all of that, how does it make you feel?
A little bit disappointed. I think that has put me off a little bit.
I think I've given you a lot to think about, so why don't you take a break, go and sit down, just relax for a bit, and we'll talk about it a bit more in a moment.
OK, thanks, Mike.
Meanwhile, let's take a break from the nice shiny cars in my showroom to look at a dodgy motor that's not just a lemon, it's a sliced lemon.
Now, look at this typical scene. It's Acacia Avenue in the heart of Middle England. Typical suburbia. Now, you wouldn't think that this is the scene of one of Britain's most horrendous motoring crimes, would you? But it is, and it involves that car. Now, the chap who bought this car thought he was buying a nice family runaround, a 2002 Rover 45. 1.6, finished in silver, only 23,000 miles on the clock. Just look at it. Alloy wheels, leather interior, electric windows, power steering, even got a 6-stack CD player. What a tasty little motor, but this car hides a horrendous crime, and it was only picked up when the RAC's keen eye found out what was wrong with it. Believe it or not, this car was on sale for £2,500, a very, very cheap motor, the one that's hiding a very sorry story. Now, it wasn't picked up what's wrong with this car until it had a mechanical inspection. And to talk me through it, I've got a guy from the RAC, Ed Evans. Ed, thanks for coming down. What is wrong with this motor? It's a Rover 45, alloy wheels, leather interior. It's a cracker, 23,000 miles.
It looks absolutely stunning, but in fact, it's actually what I'd call a motorised coffin. The car is actually a lethal machine. Have a look at this. If you just simply pull the rubber down there.
Now, I always say to people when they go and buy a car, don't be frightened to pull the rubber seals down, get into it.
I fail to see why they don't. It takes 10 seconds to pull down, and it takes 30 seconds to put back in, and look what is revealed here. There's the manufacturer's welds, and these are absolutely, well, grossly inadequate plug welds that's been done into a very, very amateurish standard.
Right, OK. And is there any other welds on the car?
Well, if you think this is bad, under the carpet is an absolute mess.
What are you saying? Are you saying that this car is a cut and shut.
Absolutely. It's two cars joined together in an appalling way. What has happened is had a heavy accident on the back. Someone has cut across here,
Yeah.
right across the floor, taken an old car, perhaps a stolen one, cut the same part off that car and replaced it with substandard weak welding. In the event of an accident, I don't think it would give any protection to the people in the vehicle.
The chap who bought this car was buying it for a family vehicle to take his grandchildren around, I do believe.
Unfortunately, people who do this sort of thing have no regard for the safety of you, your family, your children, your grandchildren. All they're interested in is a quick buck themselves.
Ed, this is quite possibly one of the worst lemons we've ever seen on Auto Trader. What should people do to avoid buying a car like this in the future?
Mike, if you're not 100% certain of your abilities to spot something like this, get the car professionally inspected by a reputable motoring organisation.
And if you can't do that, at least take somebody with you who knows enough about cars.
That's the very least you could do.
Now, this car is going to go to the scrapper, hopefully, isn't it?
Absolutely, we're going to have it crushed because we do not want these sort of lethal death machines on the road of Britain.
And it's a good job too, because the man who bought this car lost all his money, and that's an expensive mistake. Remember, it has been said that there's up to 30,000 cars like this on Britain's roads. If you're a little bit unsure about your own car, get it inspected. Or if you're going to go and buy a car, please, 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 get a mechanical inspection. Right, let's get back to the showroom.
Back here in my workshop, I'm making good progress helping Marcus Hendy get his left-hand drive Golf Cabrio into a fit state to be shifted. So far, I've sorted him out a new radio aerial, and his leather interior is looking like new. Next job is the rear window, which needs to be removed to get to that leaking seal. Now, I'm going to be undoing this window from the back inside here, so of course I won't be able to catch the window as it drops out, which I should be able to, but just in case, I don't want to break it, I'm just going to put some tape on here. With the tape in place to stop the window falling out and smashing, it's quite easy to remove the glass with a small screwdriver. Now, before we can put the whole thing back, the old sealant needs to be carefully removed. The new stuff costs around £10 a tube, so this is looking like quite a cheap fix. Now, this is quite a handy little tip for when you're doing windows of this kind. This stuff is called paracord. It's basically what holds a parachutist to his canopy. I did check I could borrow this first, obviously. Now, it runs around the channel of the rubber, and it means that when I actually install the window, I have a way of peeling the lip over the edge of the window. Now, if you don't use the cord, the rubber edge around the window is almost impossible to fit back into place properly. It'll end up looking a mess, and worse still, it'll leak. It's also worth having an extra pair of hands for this bit to help keep the window in position. If you put some pressure up here, that's right. Push it a bit more, give it a bit of a push, that's it, that's good. There we go.
Wow, look at that! What a transformation! It looks fantastic.
Nice. Awesome now, isn't it? Much better.
Looks wicked, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a shed when it rolled in earlier.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
It was bad, honestly. Now, what you've been up to, Ed, it looks brilliant.
Well, we've been really busy cleaning, first of all. The next thing was a new aerial, £15 for that. Marcus has put a serious amount of elbow grease on that interior, so that's looking pretty good now. And then we really pushed the boat out, £12 for some sealant for that rear window.
Although your car looks fabulous, you've still got a problem with it, and it's a left-hand drive.
True.
So I had a really good think about it today. I surfed the internet and I found there's loads of websites dedicated to the expats, the people, the Brits that have moved abroad. They're selling tumble dryers, washing machines, sofas, but they also sell cars. There's nothing to stop you advertising your car in one of those places. Now, Ed, when he bought the car in earlier, we reckoned it was worth about 1,500 quid.
Yeah.
What do we think it's worth now?
Well, to be fair, it's still only worth £1,500.
But now it's an honest 1,500 quid.
It really is. It's going to fly out the door now.